How's everybody doing? All right, so.
Well, real quick, thank you to our MC. I could not agree more. Appreciate appreciate that, folks.
So we are going to talk about DJ's promotion. But as we're going to talk about, obviously, a very important topic. A couple things that we'll talk about today, just around connecting with the consumer, and obviously I think DJ's background as the Director of Multicultural Marketing Partnerships, or Media Partnerships, is probably one of the best suited to talk about this topic, given the amount of consumers that Walmart has, especially throughout the U.S. and diverse communities all over the country. So I will start us off with a question around Walmart obviously is the leading retailer in the U.S. And a very big national advertiser. Walmart's also a big supporter of diverse media platforms. DJ, can you walk us through how you guys evaluate different platforms, what type of data you use, and just how you think about connecting with different consumers throughout the country?
Certainly. And real quick, thank you all for coming. Thank you for staying for the session. Really appreciate it. Just by a quick way of introduction. Some people may get confused about my title. And so when you think Director of Multicultural Media Partnerships, and that ebbs and flows and changes a little bit, it is that my team and I, when I say my team, I mean Aaron Cooley right here in the audience, we are responsible for managing the relationships with different diverse owned and diverse targeted media, right? And so we are very intentional about making sure that conversations with different diverse communities are consistent, right? So my motto is 24/7 inclusive storytelling. We shouldn't just talk to Black people during Black History Month and then disappear. We shouldn't just talk to Hispanic and Latino individuals during the month of, Hispanic Heritage Month and then disappear. We shouldn't confine our conversations with the LGBTQ plus conversation just to June. And so that's why it was so important, I think, especially for our team to evolve into this new motto, not even a new motto, but just a renewed emphasis on communication being 24/7 with different diverse communities and not confined to a particular cultural moment or season or day or week. And so that's our intention, that's our motto. And I promise I'm going to get to your question right now. And so as we think about who to partner with, who to collaborate with, obviously we have some sort of traditional criteria, right? So we're looking at reach, we're looking at impressions, we're looking at innovation, we're looking at capabilities, we're looking at authenticity. But we're also doing our due diligence to better understand, are you doing what you say that you're going to do? How effective have you been in the community? Is this something that has become just a phrase, just a particular performative act in terms of your media buying, or not? And so we do our due diligence in that sense, just making sure that we have a better understanding of the collective health of the organization, but the authenticity of the organizations that we partner with as well. Another thing that we consider is brand safety. And so I don't think I touched on that before, but we do have a rigorous vetting process to make sure that if we do enter into any sort of partnership or collaboration with a particular organization or brand, that we vet them effectively to make sure, obviously, that it doesn't present a high risk, and if it is any sort of associated risk, that it is a calculated one. So just add that piece. Then I think you asked about data too, and so just emphasizing that we do our research in terms of understanding our different diverse communities, right? And so it's not just about age, it's not just about ethnicity, it's not just about preference. We want to understand your interests, your hobbies. We want to better understand who you are so that we can tailor whatever our marketing plan is to exactly what your interests, your attitudinal, your behavioral traits are. We want to be as specific as possible to ensure that we are effectively engaging with various communities.
Thank you. You mentioned always on, right, to make sure these programs sort of continuity and continue the program, which as a media partner, I'm sure is music to a lot of the media partners here.
Yeah.
Do you guys does Walmart look at the partner to guide you through what always on is, or do you have strategies that you bring to them and then they come back to you with bigger ideas around how continuity plays into these different moments?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, but more so leaning on the latter. So each of our various communities that we targeted, we have an initiative or a platform associated with them. So say, for example, for our Black and African American audience, we have what's called our Black and Unlimited platform as a whole, which really leads into access. So we know that we are Fortune number one. We know we have access to different agencies and how many buys we do with particular influencers. We know that as Fortune 1 we are, or that we have a larger marketing engine, so why not use that access to help different organizations, to help different individuals. And so really leaning into that piece. For Hispanic and Latino audiences, at least last fiscal year, we had what was called Together Somos Más. So really leaning into different Hispanic and Latino entrepreneurs, showcasing different aspects of Hispanic culture. So the conversations or the platforms have been established, and we brief in our partners to better understand our goals for those particular communities, and then our ask through RFPs, but also through, never been done before, or innovations. If you have a great idea, just send it to us. And hopefully, strategically, what you send to us ladders to those different initiatives and the KPIs that we set forth for those particular efforts.
Thank you.
Sure.
Since we're in the holidays, probably a good time to talk a little bit about how do you think about reaching diverse audiences during different holiday moments, whether it's this time of the year, Black History Month.
Sure. Yeah. I think it goes back to what we were talking about in terms of additional research, right? So we have a robust insights team internal, but we're also expecting both our creative agencies and our media agencies and media partners to supplant that information or supplement that information with their own learnings, right? And so I think one of the things that we learned too is just because it's a big holiday, it might be a national observance, it might not be as important to a particular diverse community, right? And so certain brands might just concentrate on Christmas, but they might forget about Three Kings Day, right? Which we know is important to the Latino and Hispanic audiences. And so having that sort of additional research gives us an opportunity to better connect to audiences as we better understand what their priorities are and not just automatically assume, everybody celebrates this, or everybody wants to lead into this, or everybody wants X, Y, and Z. So that double click, I think, is really important for us. For this particular season, at least in our world, for Multicultural, we sponsor, say, for example, the Latin Grammys. And we also have an upfront commitment with BET, so we sponsor the Soul Train Awards. And for those particular integrations, again, going back to research, we know that it's not just enough for us to buy a spot, just to do a 30-second or a 15 or a 60. And so we're very intentional about our relationship. So in addition to those spots, we'll have something in-show, an in-show integration. We'll also have some sort of community impact piece where we're giving to a nonprofit or giving to talent's nonprofit of choice. Or, we're having some sort of emotional connection or something that offers some sort of additional emotional appeal even outside of a product push. So say for Soul Train in particular, we've partnered with talent to share their favorite holiday memories. And still, with the product push, got a chance to, through the pre-show and through different interviews with talent, got a chance after those holiday memories to, reward the talent with a top holiday product. But it's sort of that intentional effort where it's not just about the buy, but thinking about integration into different sponsorships and community impact, and having all of that coupled with however we show up and however we execute. Thank you.
Speaking of communities, so Walmart obviously is a big part of pretty much every community that they're in. They're in most communities throughout the U.S.
Yep.
Can you, at Locality, we focused on local advertising. Is there anything you can take from, that you can share with this group around how a national strategy around community focus could play into any strategy you sort of implemented that could work across the local space as well?
Sure. I'd say we still try to be as customized as possible. So Steve and I were talking behind the scenes. And so a lot of our focus is more so national in our intent, but we do try to be as customized as possible, right? So we have data, it's always about data, that showcases where our different diverse communities are, right? So I say, for example, I know for Black and AA communities in terms of our store presence, Atlanta and Raleigh and Durham and Charlotte and a different organization or different cities of that type are more important, or we have a heavier focus for that particular demographic, right? And so with that information, we can better understand where we should buy in terms of media, what we should do. But again, the double click is understanding, even outside of the traditional sense of media, better understanding what the community wants, right? And so having that sort of research in terms of, it could be something like a sports team, even though my team lost last night. I don't know if anybody watched, not to get sidetracked, I don't know if anybody watched that Duke and Arkansas game. Okay, anybody? Okay, glad you did. Let's just say. They didn't come back at the end. Down by 5 with 30 seconds left. But all that is to say, we do our research and better understanding what's important. So from a sports standpoint, from an interest standpoint, from a consumption standpoint, so that when we do those sort of localized activations, we have a better understanding of what's important to the community as a whole, and we're not just thinking that one size fits all. And so that means potentially partnering with some local organizations or organizations like yours to give us a better understanding of preference, because we know that there's going to be regional difference.
Great, thank you. You just hit a nerve with myself as well. Still depressed about Ohio State upset to Michigan last weekend, so
it's
been a tough week for sports. Let's see. So we talked a little bit over the past couple of days just around a lot of the activations that you guys have done outside of just straight media, right? So experiential. Can you give us an example of something that is particularly interesting in terms of a larger program that you've done that I think when we go back to the community aspect, right?
Yeah.
How do these programs, when you think about integrating that into the community,
Yeah.
Is there any specific example or a campaign that you've done that you can talk about that sort of surrounds a community?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And this goes also to our great MC, leading into my need for a promotion because of the project that I'm about to tell you about. No, I think one of the things that I'm really, really excited about, forgot this is going to be recorded and put on YouTube, by the way. Shout out to my boss, Jill Toscano. I think one of the things that I'm really excited about, hopefully y'all know about it, and if not, I'm happy to tell you about it, y'all can Google it, is a partnership that we have with Hooray. Hooray is Issa Rae's media company. And so just for a little bit of context, we read some alarming statistics that oftentimes Black creators are paid 30 to 35% less than their white counterparts. You know, and so thinking about what I had previously mentioned about scale, we understand we are the Fortune 1 company. You know, think about how many influencers we work with. Think about how many media companies we work with. Think about how many agencies we work with. So we can provide a level of access. And so what typically is my attitude is like, I'm more so a nonchalant type of guy, but I read that and I just got angry. Got upset. And I figured as Fortune 1, we have to do something. Like we can do more, we do more than just sell top quality products at a very low price, still available for holidays if you need it. All that is to say, but we have a responsibility to be a great community advocate, right? So how can we show that we are supporters of the community? How can we show that we are community advocates, like I mentioned? How can we show that we are good corporate citizens? And as a result of that, we developed this program specific to Black creators that was intentionally focused on professional development because we knew some needed the technical proficiency necessary. So through coursework, through mentorship, through job shadowing, through bi-weekly challenges, we can help them on that front, but also in terms of the monetization, right? So we gave them monetization opportunities too, paid them a fair wage throughout the program, and gave them an opportunity to be included in different projects and activations and programs and campaigns throughout the fiscal year. And so the name of that program is our Black and Unlimited Digital Development Program, which just recently won 2 Shorty Impact Awards and a Pro Award, and I think we're up for something else as well. Thank you. Y'all can join me in clapping if y'all want to. Thank you so much. Well, thanks. And so to that point, it's not that we just focus on one particular initiative, but that's not just one example. I can tell you, about some others too quickly. Say, for example, the same intent went behind our collaboration with Me Too after we found the alarming statistic that 3 to 4% of professional directors identify as Hispanic or Latino, right? And so why not give them an opportunity? Why not give them that sort of additional professional development? And so outside of the regular 9 to 5 of media buying and strategy, we have this intentional emphasis on equitable outcomes that ladders up to the company's mission to be more than just a retailer. So that's one example of what we're doing. And then hopefully cohort 2, we should have some news for you on that front. But it is, again, just leaning into access to get people to better understand that we can do more than just ask for your money. We do want to make sure that people are living better.
So how do you look at evaluating these programs, right? I'm assuming a lot of the standard media that you guys run, pretty easy to point to what happens in the store on the weekend, spike in sales, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
These programs are obviously a little bit more complex in some cases. So what do you guys think about in terms of the value back?
Yeah. Well, we have our traditional KPIs, and so a lot of that work will still have media buys associated with them, social, linear, digital components, and so leaning into that, focusing not only on awareness but engagement metrics too, but on the brand and reputation front that's more so qualitative, thinking about NPS and brand preference and brand lift studies to better understand if we are moving the needle. So, do you feel as if this program authentically represent Walmart? Did it come off performative? Was there a net increase in brand preference? Is your perception of Walmart in a more positive, at a more positive level? And so we lean into all of that too. So finding that marriage between the qualitative and the quantitative, but definitely not negating the importance of those qualitative studies.
And then, do any of these programs get pushed into the stores in any way? Because a lot of them sound like more media-driven programs. Sure. How do they get incorporated into the actual retail?
Yeah, I'd say through some of our bi-weekly challenges, particularly for the Black Creator Program that I mentioned, one of the challenges was actually going in store and showing different products and showing what's important to you, but that also leans into our emphasis on highlighting different diverse suppliers, right? So, showcase different diverse-owned products, diverse-founded products, so we can give those businesses, a lift in terms of awareness, but hopefully increase their sales too. So that's one tie-in. And then I think we're also, I don't know if y'all are aware, but if you go to a Walmart store, the back of the store, there are the TVs, and so we call that the TV wall. And so that's also great real estate to help promote the different activations and promote the different initiatives of which we have. And so that's another way that we're integrating, or at least helping to showcase what we're doing in store.
Thank you. So I actually don't know how much time we have left. But before we move to any questions, this is a tricky one.
Sure.
What is the hottest holiday product?
Okay, so I thought about this one. And so I can't just choose one. So there's a few things. Anything tech or gadget related. So there's some great TV buys where you can get a 65-inch for $500. There's some great things happening. And so check that out. We were talking, there's a great deal, I don't know if this is it interested me, so I'm gonna share with you. Dyson vacuums, yes. Apparently there was a major thing happening on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and so get that. Okay, and Aaron, say it again.
The Dyson hair wrap.
And Aaron is saying the Dyson.
I need one of those.
Me too. Same here. The Dyson hair wrap.
It's like a curling knife.
Like a curling knife. Yes.
And it was very low. It was under 150. Wow.
Oh, and y'all are really interested in it. Okay. So 150, that's what I gotta say.
Might be giving them away out there.
And then one of my favorite suppliers that I love to work with that I think is relevant for the holidays, Patty LaBelle, Patty's Good Life. And so don't forget, she not only has the sweet potato pies, but if you ever get a chance to try the peach apple cobbler, or the peach cobbler, or the banana pudding, or the buttermilk pie, all of that is is available. So I'd say she has saved Thanksgiving and holidays for a lot of people, and she has expanded her brand where now it's meats and side dishes and macaroni and cheese and all of this great stuff. So I think those three sort of categories / products would be my top seasonal choices.
Awesome.
All right.
They're don't get in the way with lunch.
All right.
So we're not that far off on time, actually, which is pretty amazing considering. So thank you, gentlemen. Really
Thank you. Thank you.